The afternoon sun burned low over the rugged metal rooftops of the biker clubhouse, casting long shadows across the pavement like dark fingers stretching toward the horizon. It was the kind of day when trouble felt close, clinging to the air like dust after a storm. The bikers were returning from a long ride, engines growling like restless beasts, boots crunching gravel, leather jackets carrying the smell of gasoline and wind. Everything felt loud and heavy, until a tiny, fragile voice cut straight through the noise. That one trembling sentence, barely more than a whisper, carried enough weight to stop even the toughest man in his tracks. A small girl, holding a worn-out teddy bear, stood in front of the clubhouse door with tears shining in her eyes. Her hair was tied in a messy bun, dust on her cheeks, fear in her trembling hands. And her words, those soft, desperate words, froze the world around her. "Please help my mom." It was the kind of plea that reached not just the ears, but the heart. If you believe in kindness, humanity, and second chances, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this travel farther and touch more hearts. For a moment, the bikers didn't move. The loud conversations died, the shuffle of boots stopped, and even the thudding echo of engines seemed to fade away. Among them was a man named Jace, broad shoulders, tattooed arms, a hard stare shaped by a broken past. He had seen trouble before, more than he ever wanted to admit, but nothing prepared him for the sight of this trembling child. He knelt slowly, lowering himself until he was eye level with her, and saw that she wasn't just scared. She was trying to be brave through it, clutching her teddy bear like it was the last piece of safety in a dangerous world. Behind her, no car, no adult, no sign of where she had come from, just the silence of desperation. Jace felt something crack inside him, something he thought he'd buried long ago. It was the memory of his own little sister, years ago, crying the same way. That memory hit him harder than any punch he'd taken. The girl's dress was torn at the edges, her small hands smudged with dirt, and yet she held herself like someone who had no time to cry, only time to survive. She tried to explain what happened, but her breath kept hitching, and her words came out in soft bursts. Her mom had been hurt. Not just hurt, she'd been attacked by a man who wasn't supposed to be in their home. A man who had been coming around for weeks. A man the little girl feared every time he knocked on the door. That day, he came back angrier than before. The girl hid, clutching her teddy, until the yelling turned into something worse. And when she saw her mom fall, she ran. She didn't know where to go. Only that someone once told her that bikers protect their own, and sometimes, even protect strangers. Jace felt the weight of her words like a chain wrapping around his chest. His past wasn't clean. He had made mistakes, walked the wrong road more times than he wanted to count, but he had sworn never to let a child suffer the way he once did. He rose to his feet, his jaw tight, his eyes burning with purpose. He didn't need to speak, his brothers understood. Every man in that yard, hardened by life and loyal to their own code, stepped forward with the same silent promise. They weren't going to let this go. They weren't going to let harm find its way back to this little girl. The biker crew, known for their rough edges and iron fists, found themselves united by something far stronger than fear or reputation, the instinct to protect. The ride to the girl's home was fast, tense, and filled with that sharp kind of focus that only comes when stakes are life or death. They arrived to find the front door cracked open, a lamp shattered on the floor, and the house filled with a suffocating stillness. Jace moved through the rooms like a storm, calling out until he heard faint breathing from the corner of the living room. The girl's mother sat slumped against the wall, bruised, trembling, one hand pressed to her ribs. She was conscious enough to register the bikers entering, but her eyes were glassy with pain and terror. When she saw her daughter run into Jace's arms, she finally exhaled, a breath of relief, of disbelief, of gratitude that carried its own kind of heartbreak. Jace crouched beside her, seeing the fear still trapped in her expression. She tried to apologize for the state of her home, for the danger, for the chaos, but Jace shook his head gently. This wasn't her fault. This wasn't her burden to carry alone. He called for medical help, guided her daughter back to her side, and made a silent vow that whoever had done this would never come near them again. The bikers searched the perimeter, ensuring the man was long gone, but they knew he wouldn't stay gone forever unless someone ensured it. While the ambulance took the mother away and neighbors gathered outside, surprised and murmuring, the little girl held onto Jace's vest like she finally felt safe. He carried her to his bike, promising she wouldn't be alone, not now, not ever. The child's trust in him, pure, innocent, and given without hesitation, felt like a second chance he didn't deserve but refused to waste. The club arranged protection for the home, stayed with the mother at the hospital, and made sure the authorities took the case seriously. They stood watch like guardians, not aggressors, proving that sometimes the roughest-looking people carried the softest hearts. Days later, when the mother opened her eyes fully and saw her daughter smiling again, the relief washed over the room like sunlight breaking through a storm. Jace stood quietly in the doorway, arms folded, the little girl holding her teddy bear with newfound peace. The mother mouthed a thank you, tears gathering in her eyes, and Jace simply nodded. He didn't need recognition. The child's safety was enough. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more real, emotional, and inspiring stories to the world. Before the story ends, please take one moment and comment below what part moved you the most. In the days that followed, the biker clubhouse wasn't the same. The men who once lived for adrenaline and wild rides found themselves visiting the little girl, bringing her small gifts, fixing her broken fence, and ensuring her home stayed safe. Jace became something of a guardian figure, not because he sought redemption, but because the child had chosen him as her hero. The fear she once carried was replaced by trust, and the world that once felt dangerous now held people willing to fight for her. Her simple, trembling plea, "Please help my mom," became the spark that changed not just her life, but the lives of the men who heard it. And in that unexpected moment, a hardened biker found the one thing he didn't know he was missing, a reason to be better, stronger, and softer all at once. By the end, the roughness of the road, the scars of the past, and the weight of the world seemed lighter, not because life became easier, but because kindness, even from the unlikeliest place, had taken root. And that little girl, with her teddy bear and trembling voice, had unknowingly reminded them all what it truly meant to protect, to care, and to choose humanity over fear.